What is up, my friends? It is Friday night, the last weekend of the season, and as always, you're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. We're going to be discussing the young Colombian potential superstar that the Reds have agreed a deal to sign. We'll be talking about DIOMANDE, a little bit about Rio. We'll be having a discussion around Lewis Hall, as Liverpool have been linked with a move for him, which I don't really understand, and lots more over the course of the next couple of hours. So, ladies and gents, I'm sure there is a lot for us to go through. Any topics that you would like us to cover, as always, this is your show, so let me know in the comments. The first poll question of the night that we have for you is indeed around DIOMANDE. Should Liverpool look to pay the €100 million that RB Leipzig are asking for, back off the news today of Ornstein and others saying that Liverpool are pushing hard on that one? We want to know what your thoughts are. Should we pay the €100 million, which is about, I think, £86 million, something like that? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I will do my best to answer any questions you guys have. I will answer them as honestly as I can, as I always try to do. And yeah, that is it for now, my friend. So get cracking. Let's go. Right, let's... So, I've already seen... Look, the comments are already in there being deleted by the moderators. Look, let me just address... No, do you know what? I'm not going to address the manager stuff yet, because I'm going to wait for the chat to fill up a bit more, because I don't want to repeat myself and annoy everybody. Let me just say this very clearly. I don't make any of you come in to click on our stream to watch. If you have something negative to say about me, crack on. That is your right and your privilege. But I can only tell you what I know. Whether you watch, believe, not, I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to be baited tonight, because I want to enjoy tonight. It's the last weekend of the season. I've worked hard this season. It's been a frustrating season. So, again, if you want to be negative and you are convinced the manager's staying, crack on. No judgment from me. You do you. I'll give you all that I have, as always, in a while. But I don't know what else to say in it. But I'm not going to put up or listen to anyone's bullshit when they've no interest of me being right or this channel succeeding. Our viewers, our community, your opinions are always welcome. But account holders that I've never seen before coming in to take cheap shots, I just don't have the energy for it. And quite frankly, I think I've earned the right to have a little bit of good grace. So if you do want to have a pop, just leave to save us all the time, please. Right. Right, Eleanor said, Craig, no hate, but why would stop you talking about next season Sky interviews if he knows he's gone? Have you ever in the history of managers who are about to depart a job seen them come out and break news in an what would you expect him to say in the interview? Let me ask you that, Eleanor. What would you expect the manager to say? Again, I don't know what else to say to you. I can't make this go any quicker. And there are things that have really frustrated me over the last 24 hours, which I had intended on discussing tonight, and I will discuss. But let me just say this. I can't make the situation go quicker. So if you don't want to... You say you no hate, but then straight into disagreeing with me. What do you expect him to say? Do you expect him to go out there today and say, yeah, lads, never mind this game that still has something potentially on it at the weekend. I'm just going to talk about my future. And I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. If you don't think I'm right, no problem. Like I've said all the way through, I'm here and I will be here after the fact. But I can't talk about something that hasn't happened yet from the perspective of what the manager's thinking. I'm not in Arne Slot's brain. I can't tell you why he said what he said. I don't know the answer to that. But like I've said all the way through, I'm only being honest with what I've been told and who told me. After that, what else can I do? If you want, in the future, I promise you, I'll never speak about anything I get told, if that makes you calmer and we can come on here and talk about football, life, Liverpool, transfers, whatever. If you don't want the information that I get, that's no problem. But I'm not going to sit here every single night and just repeat myself because people are impatient or don't agree with me. I can't change your view. If that's your view, crack on, no problem. I can only tell you what I know, and I tell you in good faith. If it's easier, I'll just say stump. I'll say nothing in the future and just keep going with it. But I try to be honest for people. But if you don't want it, no problem. I'll never tell you anything else I hear again, and I'll just come on and talk about football. No problem whatsoever. But Jesus, this is a difficult position every night to be in. And I don't know what else to say to you. Again, it's been so disheartening, because what's the upside of me saying what I hear? All I get is grief. And all I've gotten is grief. And all I got in the summer with Wirtz was grief because everybody was impatient and they wanted it to happen yesterday. And I can't control the fucking time frame. So again, I say what I say in good faith. I say it's backed by sources. Those sources are more than credible. If you don't believe me, fine. But I'm not going to just sit here every night and repeat myself. I need a break as well, lads. Like, there's one thing you're forgetting in all of this. All of this is we all want this fucker gone. That's the most important thing. We all want the manager gone. And I can't force the decision any quicker. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be said. But if you don't believe me, no problem. I won't take it personally, but please don't ask me to give you answers for things that I can't answer. I can't answer certain things. And it's tiring because I get in grief. What's the upside? I've really learned a lesson over the past week is I am not repeating anything else on this channel about interactions that I have with journalists or anything because it's just not worth the grief for me. It really isn't. Like, I say it in good faith and I get absolutely ridiculed for days on end. Anyway, I sent an email. Can you keep an eye out for it? Said Holly, I struggle going on to watch live, so I wanted to send a hello and thanks. Love the channel. I will ask Connor Holly to have a look out for it and forward it on to me, my friend. I don't look at the emails anymore because the police have asked me not to. Long story, Holly, long story. But I will absolutely ask Connor to send that one on, Holly. And thank you so much for your support on the channel, mate. It means a lot to us. Zoshi said, Craig, how much do you see us spending this summer? I really haven't got a clue what to expect because, and I've said this consistently over the years, I truly believe we don't have a budget. And what I mean by that is, like, imagine you ran a business, any type of business, and you said to them, you have X amount to spend. They're going to spend it, right? They're going to, of course we all would. It's human nature. If you said to me, Craig, there's 10 grand in case you need it, I'm going to find a way to spend 10 grand. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we have a budget as such as we have particular targets with individual valuations. No, it does have to be within some kind of framework. Of course, it has to make sense. But I don't think it's good business or good business practice for FSG to say to Hughes, right, you have 100 million, fella, crack on. Because he's going to find a way to spend that 100 million. You're going to want individual proposals put to you around players, why they want them, and then you look at the valuation of it. And if the club thinks there's value in it, more often than not, that's been what led us to make a transfer. So I don't think we actually have a budget, which makes it, again, an individual position by position, situation by situation type thing. We'll have areas, of course, that we know we need to strengthen in. But after that, my man, I really don't know. And I don't think anybody could give you an answer on that because, like I said, I don't think there is a number that we know we have. Big Chili 2 said, poll question for later. Player plus cash deal for Elise, yay or nay? I'd throw in Gakpo, hope everyone as well. I think every single one of us will take a player plus cash or any type of cash deal, Big Chili, for Elise. I just don't see a world where Bayern are going to sell him, and nor should they. If I was in their shoes, if I was Vincent Kompany, I'd lose my shit if they considered selling him. And in this World Cup year as well, I really just don't think it's on the cards for him to move clubs. He is the dream, though, for me, and I would dare say many Liverpool fans. I gave you a nice hickey last night. Good man. Fair play. I'm good at that, apparently. I don't know, mate. I don't think I've ever given a hickey in my life, to be honest with you. There you go. Benny said, hey, Craig, how are you, my man? We very much appreciate the information about the club that you can share. Keep up the great work. Look, look, here's where I'm at, right? Over the last 24 hours, I've seen journalists say stuff publicly that I have actual intrinsic proof of them thinking the exact opposite. And I've shared this information with Keane and other people. It's been weird. Like, it's been really, really weird for the last 24 hours to see some people have one public-facing opinion and something very different privately. I can't tell you why. I don't know the answer as to why. All I can tell you is the information that I got is from extremely well-placed people in the football industry, and it's been backed up more than once, more than twice. But after that, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. If you want me to stop talking about the manager, If you want to admit at this point, or you want to say I'm wrong, crack on. I have to be patient and sit here and wait it out like everybody else. Even yesterday, if we look at that post from Nick, which again is a journalist that works in politics, not around Liverpool, but he even said something similar. His information was almost identical to mine, except he had a time frame and I didn't. And I still don't have a time frame. But his time frame is that it's going to be announced next week, which would make sense at the end of the season. Of course, the manager is going to say, I'll be here next season. We know he's a delusional fuck anyway. So he's the manager that thinks a couple of changes now are going to change everything in the team. Have you looked at his press conference quotes today? They're absolutely nonsensical. A manager who couldn't figure it out all year thinks there's an easy fix now. And then he kind of alludes to other clubs doing business in January. This manager's only answer to anything is spending more money and signing more players. That's the answer for him. Apparently coaching and improving players doesn't seem to be on his fucking radar. It's weird. And even hearing him talk in the presser today, he's just off the charts deluded. And you've seen today there was a sign outside the AXA slot out. It's really clear. The club know the situation they're in. The club know that how much the fans don't want this situation to continue with slot. After that, I don't know what else to say because I'm really tired. And I mean that sincerely. I'm absolutely exhausted over the last week. I probably shouldn't have opened my mouth because it hasn't been worth the grief. But I just want to give you guys the same relief that I felt. If it turns out to be wrong, which again, I don't think it is, I will be here and I will apologise for it. And I will not hide away and I will resign. I've already offered to resign to Connor. If this goes tits up and everybody gets angry, I've already said to him, I'll quit, mate. If I've brought this on and the information turned out to be correct, I'll quit. It's as simple as that. And I've no problem doing that. If I've let you down, I've no problem walking away. Because like I said, you guys mean the world to me and I will never mislead you intentionally or never bring you something that I don't think is true. I respect you all too much for that. Ignore people, mate, and I stand by you. Look, I don't know of anybody in the football world, whether it be a journalist, a fan channel, a writer, who has gotten everything absolutely right. It's impossible. And again, I still believe thoroughly what I've been told. And if I could tell you who told me, and if I could tell you all the information I have, I think you'd see how I came to the conclusion I did. And I have more than double checked this. You know, but I can't hurry it along. Same with Wirtz in the summer. When everybody was doubting that deal and everybody was talking about it wavering, I told you there was nothing to be concerned about and the deal was going to happen. And it did. But if I'm wrong, I won't hide away. And I can only reassure you on that. That's it. If you want to sit there and just throw abuse at me, crack on. But what else can I do or say at this point? I can't change it for you, can I? If you don't believe it, no problem. But I've tried to explain it from every angle I can without giving you names. And I can't give you names because there's other people's livelihoods on the line and I'm not going to fuck up their life. Thought Max was better, but Rio got the promotion. To the England training setup, yeah, it's very interesting to see that Rio's been called up to Thomas Tuchel's, I don't want to say squad because that's not correct, but he will be training over in Florida, I think it is, with the England team. That can only stand him in good stead. And again, it shows you how highly he's thought of in the England setup as well, which is obviously a good thing for him for the future. Super Joe. And I'll come to all the journalist stuff in a minute. I'm just waiting. I can see the numbers still rising in the chat. And I want to make sure that as many people are in as possible so I don't have to bore you by repeating myself over and over again. I'm going to get to it in one sec. Thoughts on Dumfries? Our board seems too eager for Dutch players and manager. Most are talented but seem to lack the mentality, except for VVD. Look, parking up all the other Dutch stuff and all that. On Dumfries as a player, as a lone individual signing to just look at it objectively, I understand it if it happens. Don't know if it is going to happen, but you know, let's say we had any other coach and we were linked with Dumfries. I would feel like I understand that for two reasons. One, you've got Bradley who's young and he's going to develop, but we know he probably can't play 2 games a week. And then you've got somebody like Dumfries who is at the latter stage of the career, very experienced, and probably a perfect counterbalance. So I wouldn't have any issues with Dumfries if Liverpool wants to go in that direction. I'd seen, is it Palestra or whatever his name is, the Atalanta right back, is somebody that many clubs are looking at, and Inter have identified as an ideal replacement for Dumfries. But honestly, on that, I've no idea. Like, I couldn't tell you whether we're really interested or not. I don't know anything on that one. I'm just reading the same as everybody else. Maybe no Isak, no Ekitike to start, have to spend. So yeah, at the weekend, certainly the vibe I got off the press conference, Rich, was I'm not expecting Isak to be in the starting 11 for the Brentford match, just based off the fact that there's still no confirmation that he's back training properly. He said he was expected to train. I think Alisson probably more likely, but this is why for me, Rich, when we talk about players like for next season, Bowen keeps coming to the forefront of my mind, because I think he gives us options. And West Ham need to sell. They need to free up money. Bowen probably, again, to some people, might not sound like the sexiest name in the world, but to give us the ability to have different options out there, different ways to score goals, and again, not blocking the pathway for some of the younger players. And we'll move on to talk about the young Colombian kid that we've agreed that deal with today. That's where my head would be at, because let's say, Rich, let's play this out, and we let's say brought in, I don't know, pick any striker. Let's say Jonathan David, just as an example. Let's say you brought in Jonathan David. Unless that's a loan, what happens then? And again, I'm not trying to say we're linked with Jonathan David. It's just a random name I threw out there. But let's say he comes in and Liverpool have bought a player. What happens then when Ekitike is back fit and Isak's there? You're giving yourself a headache for down the line. So I'd be surprised if Liverpool dip their toes for a striker. Because again, we still have Jayden Danns, we still have Will Wright, and with a good pre-season, who knows where they're going to be. So that's the one position I don't expect us to sign somebody in, but we have been linked to a couple. You're brave and honest, fuck the haters, mate. Honestly, right, look, here it comes. I've been sending some frantic messages around to people over the last day or two, because I've seen particular journalists who I have seen evidential proof that they think and believe that the manager's on the way out. I have seen them publicly say things that are the polar opposite of what I know they're saying behind closed doors to other people in the industry. I've seen it. Add into that my own information from a journalist, like I've said, that covers football, doesn't cover Liverpool specifically. I can only tell you what I hear. What I hear is tallying what other people have heard, and have come out after I said it and have said that they've heard. Ultimately, though, I can't guarantee anything in life, because football is a mad world and it can change like that. As at this moment in time, I fully expect that the information I have on Arna being gone is right. But until you guys hear that, fair enough. And of course, there are still lots and lots of people saying he's going to be there. But that, in my opinion, because the club are fighting fires behind the scenes to make sure that the news is managed the way they want it to be, and the situation is evolving how they want it to, and some people are willing to play ball with that. Some aren't. I would be in the I'm not category, but others who have to have some type of a professional working relationship with the club have to be a little more cautious in it. Now, there are other people who are at the far end of it, but what I've noticed as a fan, I was watching Romano today, I was watching David Ornstein and a few others. I've noticed a subtle change in their language. I don't know if anybody else has. And again, I'm not saying necessarily that perhaps I'm not reading too much into it. But on these certain things, like Romano today and Ornstein, they've talked about a situation where they said categorically the manager's going to be there, into, well, let's see what happens at Liverpool. It's starting to evolve a little bit more in front of us all. But any questions, throw them in. I'm here to answer them. I'm just not here to be shouted at for telling you something and it hasn't happened quick enough for somebody. And if you don't believe me, that there's no insult. I said that from day one. I am absolutely cool with people doubting anything I say, because you should question everything. I question everything. I just want you to know that when I bring something to you like that, it's after me doing a lot of back end work behind the scenes to try to corroborate the information, because there's no good me misleading anybody, is there? And again, most importantly, I've been wrong once on this channel. And even at that, there's a reason why I was wrong, which I've explained privately to people at live shows. But I didn't hide away from the Bellingham stuff, did I? I was here owning up to it. He went and joined Madrid. I know why he joined Madrid. But again, I haven't been hiding away, and I was right on so many other things. But I don't know what else I can say. Like, what's in it for me to come on here and say, oh, he's gone? Views for 2 or 3 days and then months of abuse. So where's the upside in that for me as a human being, as a content creator? As I keep saying to you, my reputation is so important to me. It means everything to me in this life. And I am an honest man. But I can't change the world just because people are impatient. It is what it is, and it's going the way it's going. That's all I can say. IRAOLA, tactically a better manager than Jabi. I don't really know enough about IRAOLA tactically to know where to place him. Like, I've been really upfront about saying many times, for me, it's just about getting rid of Slot. All I want as a fan is to get rid of Slot. I am at ease with whoever the next coach will be, because at the very least, if the next coach came in and it was a bumpy start, I've a lot more patience for that than I read something earlier on today, and I think I might have it in my notes. Let me see if I do. 1 second. Might not have it here. 1 sec. So there was something in my notes from one of the journalists that was talking about IRAOLA maybe hanging on in case the start of next season was failed by Slot. The amount of journalists that think he might stay, that then write about the fact that a job might come up early in the season, that angers me as a fan, because it's almost as if you're like, we want to be the nice guys, at least in this environment. We want to be the nice guys, so we're going to go again, but we think he's going to fail. We think he's going to fail, so we're going to have somebody on the side. Like, that's bullshit. That is absolute nonsense. Why would you go into next season with a coach that you think's going to fail anyway? Just make the change. So some of this just doesn't make sense, objectively looking at it from the outside. Nobody has faith in Slot. All the journalists know he's not the right fit. They all think that even if he does start next season, like Ian Ladyman, as an example, Ian Ladyman said, the bigger surprise would be if Slot's still here come April and November. Like, these are crazy things. What's this one? Yes, here it is. It was from Julian Laurent. Thank you, Keane. He sent it on to me. So Julian Laurent said this: I think for a long time, IRAOLA was hoping that maybe Liverpool would get rid of Arne Slot and that he would be the perfect fit for them. That's not going to happen for now. For now being key words here. But don't rule out the chance that he won't have a club at the start of next season, and he'll take a bit of time to make the right offer if it comes, which might come at Liverpool if Arne Slot doesn't last till November. So if the very fucking best some journalists can come up with is that he might shit the bed at the start of next season, because let's be honest, he will, I don't know what else to say. Like, how does that make any sense? If you're trying to run a football club and you've got a manager who everyone's hovering around might get fired next season at the start of it, that's another season out the window. That's more upheaval. None of it makes any sense. Coco Sandwich said, morning Craig, I'd rather spend 30-40 million on 2 to 3 proven players for us to spend 100 million on a teenage. This big transfer stuff needs to stop. Did it 3 times last summer and only one done okay. Thoughts? I understand your sentiment completely. I completely get where you're coming from. It is difficult to look at the big money signings last summer and having not really got to the levels we'd hoped for yet, and then see Liverpool looking to do it again. For me, it more comes down to who the coach is going to be, because whoever comes in, let's play this out and say Slot's still there. There isn't 5% of me that thinks that Slot's going to get this team playing better with a couple of tweaks. And I don't think anybody's buying into that because he's had all season to make these changes and he hasn't been able to do it. And why all of a sudden are the club aware that they need pace, where everybody and their dog knew last summer we needed pace? But now there's this dawning and realization. Remember, there's a lot of fucking self-interest going on here from Richard Hughes, from Arne Slot, from other people. You know, like I've said, I've offered my resignation to Connor if it's wrong, and I'll stand over that because I don't know what else I can say. I still believe he's gone. I still believe he'll be replaced. I can't say anything else. Alonso Lancelot said, evening Craig, it's my birthday today. Thanks for your streams. Keep up the good work. Road to 400k. Happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday. May's, it's crazy the amount of people's birthdays that are in May that I know. Like my daughter's birthday, my mother-in-law's birthday, and 2 or 3 friends. Like the amount of people I know that's in May, it's crazy. But happy birthday to you. And yeah, fingers crossed, the road to 400k. It's I'll be excited when we hit it. D-Thug said, Slot will be sacked. You're the only one with guts to say. Look, I don't have to protect a relationship with the club. I don't have to protect the institutional relationship of a newspaper. I don't have to have as much bona fide, corroborated, on the record stuff as a journalist would have to have. So I can say things a little bit earlier once I'm confident in my own information. But if I don't know it, as I've said 2 or 3 times tonight, I will say I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the Canade situation. I don't know anything about the Dumfries situation. I only know about the DIOMANDE stuff the same way as you all know about it because it's in the media. Sorry, just got a message from a journal right now that's replying to me from earlier, so bear with me. Okay. Sorry. Even that message there, which again I won't tell you because it's private, but it kind of corroborates or it balances out with a lot of other stuff. So there really is this public facing, he's staying from the club. There is that, right? But think about it this way. The club are saying he's staying, he's staying, he's staying, he's staying, he's staying. Nobody's denied that we're speaking with other coaches. Why would we be doing that? Why would we be interested in IRAOLA? Why would all these things be being openly spoken about if there's nothing to the manager going? And again, if they believe in the manager, is he going to get a new deal to keep him at the club? Up to you how you interpret that, but just a bit of common sense involved in all of it, knowing the way football clubs operate and the PR side of it, and especially with what this weekend entails for our club, which is goodbye to Mohamed Salah, goodbye to Andy Robertson, hopefully confirming our Champions League place for next season. Ultimately, it's been a failure of a season. And I don't know a Liverpool fan that really thinks Slot can fix it. Because how the fuck can we believe that? You know, there hasn't been any signs this season that he has gotten to grips with it. And there's even certain things he's saying that aren't true. Like he said Mohamed Salah was happy when we won the league. Well, yes, he was. He carried you to that league title, Arne. He carried you there. Of course he was happy. But now all of a sudden, when he's shown up that his methods are bollocks and everyone's calling it out and players are liking posts on it, you know, of course he's going to get defensive and of course he's going to want to talk about himself in a positive sense. But it's garbage. He can't turn around this team. You know that and I know that. Slot seemed very confident today that he will stay. Again, what am I supposed to do with that, Hamoudi? If you think he's going to stay, crack on, mate. No problem for me whatsoever. But I don't know what you want me to say to that. Did you expect him to come out today and tell you he's getting fired? You think he's going to come out and say that, do you? So I don't know what you expect him to say. There's embargoed stuff that'll be coming out tonight. Now, I don't know what that is yet, but I'll get it at about 10 o'clock. and then we'll see if there's anything extra hidden in that we can maybe glean some information from. Blaine Williams, hey, how are you, dude? 11 months as well, my man, thank you. Craig, it's just noise. I've learned through watching this channel, most of these journalists are a disgrace. You're a real one. Look, every time I break something that is, and it hasn't happened too often, maybe 5 times, when it's something very important, people are obviously emotionally invested in it as well, as a fan base. So I get impatience from people I understand, because it's nervy for me as well. Because more than anything else, I want him gone. I want him gone as head coach, because he's not good enough and he's not the right character for our club. So for me, there's just nothing credible for him to stay here, even pushing aside my own dislike of the man. And I do dislike him. I very much dislike him, because I don't think he's bought into the club, the mentality, the way the fan base operates, the ethos of who we are. I just don't think he gets it. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't know. These streams are getting harder and harder every night, because I know what I'm walking into each night. I could just sit there and put up pre-recorded videos and avoid the direct questions, but I would never intentionally mislead you, because you mean too much to me. But I can't guarantee you that everything I ever say is always going to end up being 100% factual, because things can change and evolve. The amount of people I know that are absolutely convinced he's gone, but are hearing consistently that he's staying, even though other information points to he's gone. I don't know what else to say, but this has been a very tricky situation for everybody to navigate around, because some people have to protect relationships publicly, but I still think he's gone. I don't know what else to say. Joshua Leach said, so he's not getting sacked. Did I say he's not getting sacked, dickhead? Did I say that? See, he's the type of fucking idiot I'm on about. Ask me directly, do I think he's still getting sacked? Yes. But what do you want me to do with that? Has Ornstein told you where he gets his information from yet? Has Romano told you where he gets his information from yet? Has Joyce told you where he gets his information from? Has Pierce told you where he gets his information from? Of course they haven't, because you don't have the opportunity to ask them that question, which again makes my job and my life here infinitely more difficult. Because when I say something that I've heard, I have to be met with 50 questions a night about it, directly put to me, and I'm here answering it. But I want to say this categorically. If you don't believe me, no problem. Just fuck off. It's as simple as that. Just go and watch somebody else. But I'm not going to listen to being undermined by people who, when I'm right, won't come back in and go, you know what, Craig? You were right, mate, weren't you? You'll come in and I guarantee you this is what you'll say. You guessed and you got lucky. So again, I don't know what else to say. But it's breaking my fucking heart to be on here, because there's no upside to this for me. So from now on, like I said, I'm not going to tell you anything with regards to information I get, because it's not worth the hassle. I'll tell people in Discord, I will tell people I know privately, but I'm not going to put it in here to be insulted over and over and over again. I get enough trolling as it is. Do you think we get Kamara? Anything you know? I only know that we're interested. That's it. The 50 million euro rumoured price tag could be an issue, according to a few I'm reading, if my memory's right. And no, I think you said Lamine Kamara, didn't you? We're not talking about Boubacar Kamara here. We're talking about Lamine Kamara, right? Yeah. They only paid, I think, 8 or something like that a year ago. So I don't know if Liverpool think there's value in that deal or not. I haven't got a clue. but he's definitely a name that we're looking at for that position. Leona said, Craig, just wanted to say that I've been watching you for a while now and appreciate and trust your info. I graduated secondary school last night. Congratulations. And I hope the leaving cert goes well for you, Leona. I know you've been working and studying hard in it, so I wish you all the very best with it. I know it's starting for you next month, so yeah, do let us know when it's all over how you get on, and thank you for dropping in again. Romano said that Liverpool will have a big meeting after the season ends where they'll make decisions about the manager and the players. Yeah, I think that decision's already been made, Hamoudi. But there's always an end of season review. So Romano wasn't saying anything extraordinary by saying that. You know? That's common sense stuff. And he's not wrong. There will be an end of season review. There's always an end of season review. And how do you think that end of season review is going to go? Because Richard Hughes will no doubt be in there saying, I think he needs another chance because Richard Hughes appointed him. So you've got Richard Hughes, who's sort of made a bollocks of the recruitment and definitely made a bollocks of bringing the manager in, and his reputation and neck is on the line. So whose corner do you think he's going to be fighting behind the scenes? As I said, lots of self-preservation going on, lots of egos and reputations on the line. But again, all I can tell you is Romano, for me, I couldn't give a shit about because I don't have any ounce of respect for him. Not even this much. He's a shill in my eyes and he's a fucking problem. But Hamoudi, if that's what you want to believe, that's 2 super chats now, mate. 2 super chats about the same topic. I don't know what the fuck you want me to say. Dr. Octopus as our next coach. Let's go, said Timothy. Chris said, I don't mind spending 100 million once I know there's a gaffer there to get the most out of them. I have to say, I kind of understand where the original poster from earlier on, Chris, came from with 100 million and big transfers being a lot. It is a lot because what we don't think about when we think about big money signings like that is usually if you make, let's use Isak as an example. If you go in the summer and you spend 125 million pound on a striker, that guy rightly would assume you're walking into the club and you're going to be the number one. You're going to be the guy. You're going to be it, the big fish. But at Liverpool, you had him walking into that. You had Mohamed Salah there, obviously with the brilliant reputation Mo has. You've got Wirtz in there as well, and all the pressure and all the plaudits coming with him from Germany. So I understand where the original poster was coming from when they asked, are big money signings the right way to continue to go? I guess when it comes to somebody like DIOMANDE, you're trying to put a value on potential. Because there's no way anybody with a straight face can tell you that with one season of Bundesliga football under his belt, even a good season that he had, the justifiable price of 100 million quid is right. It's not. It's overpaying. But the club have to get the right guy. And I don't know who the right guy is for the plans that they have. I do know we need pace. But today alone, we've seen DIOMANDE, we've seen Yakuba Minterlinked. The Barcola stuff seems to have gone a little bit quiet over the last day or two. Again, that could be something and nothing. But I just want us to get the right pacey player. I'm not as excited by the likes of Yakuba Minta, but I could understand that as he is Premier League proven. But we need to, I watched the Salah thing today, and what it reminded me is we need to get back to having strong-willed characters. I think we almost need underdogs at this point to feel like that they're fighting against being written off, or they're not getting the hype that they think they deserve compared to other players. I almost want that type of attitude. So whoever they sign, I hope that they look at the type of person that they're bringing in as well. And yes, it'll be, lots of stuff. Let's say DIOMANDE, he's a very humble kid and all this other stuff. But I want killers. I want killers brought into the football club. I want people that are there for the fight and that want to wrestle back this league title and that want to go to war out there on the pitch. And you need young players for a lot of that, but you also need the experience in and around there as well. Which is why I keep coming back to the Bowen thing, because that, to me, doesn't block the pathway long term for a lot of the younger players we're bringing in. And let's actually talk a little bit about this this Uruguayan kid, which I know Bence has done a little bit of work on in the background. I know Moby Hake has done a bit as well. But that news broke earlier on today that Samuel Martinez, Atletico Nacional's highly rated Colombian prospect, is set to become a Liverpool player when he turns 18. This story kind of moved quickly today. Initially, it wasn't going to break this soon, but I think Moby Hake or somebody said agents kind of got a little bit trigger happy with it. So it seems like it's a €1 million deal. And he was the star of the Cannonball, I think, under 17 tournament with Colombia, where he was the star player. So, could be a brilliant bit of business. I don't know anything about this kid. Don't know anything about him. But those who have, like Bence and others who've watched them, certainly think could be an exciting one for the future, But you are talking about a 17-year-old kid at the same time. Star Replier said, "Don't worry about what Slot says. He'll never say if he's not sure about his future. Managers always speak about the future positively until the end, even when they know they're sacked." Look, I've said to you the other night, and I'll reiterate it. He is telling people in his private circles that he is nowhere near as comfortable in his position as he was a few months ago even. So he definitely has concerns about his position. But look, let's just look at it objectively. What's the case here to keep him on? Right, let's try to figure this out together. What is the case now to keep him on? Like, other than he won a league title, we want to give him another chance. Other than that one thing, there isn't. There's nothing from this season that has given us any type of belief that it's about to be put right. And again, the same people who were supposed to be entrusting here are the people who've shit the bed over the last few windows as well. So Hughes' own future is on the line. Now, I don't think they can sack Hughes this summer because they have to make sure that they get the deals done. And if, let's say, tomorrow morning we woke up and they'd sacked Richard Hughes, then who's going to be doing all the transfer business? Who's going to be forging those relationships? Because a transfer doesn't just happen in a week. These things are built up over a long amount of time. And, agents and relationships with them, those conversations are going on quite a while. So I just can't see any argument to keep him. None. So if I'm wrong, and again, I don't think I am, but if I'm wrong, I think I'll be more concerned about the future of the fucking football club than I will be about my own reputation or anything else, because that to me is a heartbreaking situation where they've just, again, ignored all the evidence, because these are supposed to be the people that use the numbers, use the data to make decisions without emotion. That's what these guys were pitched as. There is no data to show that Arne Slot is the right guy at this moment. There's no data to show that he's figured it out. There's no data to show that we're getting better. The same flat, bullshit, uninspired performances are there. The same patterns of play. The same unexciting, unimaginative stuff that we've seen since maybe February or March of last year. There's nothing. The only hope is that FSG are so fucking distant that they don't care, and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are constantly just filling their ears with, he'll figure it out. Because don't forget, our owners aren't football people. They haven't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on with regards to how good he is or not. They're putting all their faith in Hughes and Edwards. And I think for the first time, they're actually now questioning whether that faith was misplaced or not. If you can answer without giving something away, is the impetus of firing him coming from FSG or Liverpool leadership? The impetus. So from my understanding, Richard Hughes has no desire to fire him. That's what I believe. That my understanding is that Richard Hughes himself has never shown any inclination or desire to sack him. That is something that I've heard a few times. So the decision would be coming from those within FSG. But like I said to you the other day, there's also a split in FSG, or concerns in FSG, about Hughes' own standing in his future. And their contracts, all three of them, Richie Robot, the Calculator Kid, and Doofy, all their contracts are up in a year's time. So the very worst FSG are doing here is kicking the can down the road with regards to the sporting director and stuff, because Edwards is gone. He's gone back out of there. We know that. What has he done since he's come in? He's basically been twiddling his thumbs, trying to buy another club for owners that don't want it. So, again, there's a lot of self-preservation here, because Hughes' reputation is on the line. If Slot's a failure, then that's a failure for Richard Hughes. And it's a failure for Will Spearman. And it's a failure for all that data bullshit that we've had rammed down our throats for the last few years. Thank you for being a breath of fresh air, and genuinely, it's incredibly refreshing in a landscape of dishonest journalism. Much love. Well, I'm not a journalist. I got to keep reiterating that. Look, something happened last night that really angered me. I seen, and I've got to be really careful about what I say here, because I don't want to give away the game. I've seen two journalists in particular say something publicly that has been quoted in the media, and I know categorically they think the opposite. And I don't just know it because he said, she said. I know it because I have it in black and white. And it's... Not only do I have it in black and white, I have it in black and white confirmation that we've spoken with IRAOLA, like I said to you guys the other night. And after I said that, you've seen more and more stuff come out about IRAOLA. Have you or have you not? After I told you the other day that Liverpool had made contact with IRAOLA, more stuff started to come out about IRAOLA. So I believe my information is correct. I believe there's a lot of speaking out of both sides of the mouth going on by some journalists out there. And let me say this, I certainly will be giving a wide berth to some of these people who I thought had a bit more about them, but are really speaking out of both sides of their mouth. I will certainly be looking at them very differently after this, because this has been an interesting thing for me as well. Because I told you guys when I got the information that it wasn't a source that I've ever used before, but because the source has such a good standing in football, it's more than credible. And not only that, I've also got a couple of others who have exactly the same thing. Then you've seen Nick posting on social. Then you've seen Dave Hendrick saying he believes it's right as well. I don't know what else I can say. Florian said, no offence, before today I was sure he's gone, but the way he smiled and claimed he's going to stay makes me believe this horror show will go on next season. If it does, if I'm wrong and the horror show goes on next season, honestly, we're fucked. We are. Because let's say you think he stays. Does anybody think it's going to work? You know, if FSG go down that route and he stays, they're going to fuck up next season as well. Which means then they're sending us towards this Manchester United spiral with their own stupidity. They have to learn the lessons. They did it with Rodgers. They went too long, let him go into another season. It failed. The appetite isn't there for this manager. The fans do not want this manager. They are not tone deaf to that. They cannot. Like, it's going to be fucking febrile inside Anfield next season if he's there. You're going to see a whole load of tickets handed back. You're going to see absolute protests, and FSG are going to take an easy win and end up with angry fans again. And another season, another lot of season ticket holders that have had to pony up 800 or 900 quid for a season ticket to be served up this fucking dross every week that they're already angry about, and they're already booing and turning their back and leaving the stadium. How do you pull a win out of that for a man that even the dressing room aren't behind? The only thing for sure, death and taxes, crack on. Yes, and I trust you. Slot seems calm about next season. Slot is deluded, mate. Like, on not even on next season, he's just deluded about the whole thing. A couple of little tweaks, he says, and we'll be grand to go next year. We need to add in pace. Well, Hamoudi, you and I and everybody in this chat sat here last summer and we all said we need a pace. We all talked about the concerns that we had. But now all of a sudden it's taken a year for these fucking geniuses to figure out the blatantly obvious. Like, I don't know what else to say, mate, because I'm more concerned about the health of our football club than my own reputation or anything, because this football club means so much to me. I can't sit through another season of this shit. I can't. I'd rather not work or watch the football. I'd rather just switch off. I cannot sit through another season of it. So to me, I'm more concerned if I'm wrong about him being here than I am about my own side of it, because I am so angry at this football club at the minute for the season we've had. And I'm so angry at the acceptance of standards falling through the floor. Does Slot start Salah? I think he has to. If he doesn't, the reading out of the team news is going to be interesting inside the stadium if he doesn't. I assume he'll start Robbo and Salah. I assume. Because if he doesn't start Salah, he's just inviting more pressure onto him. Because remember, this is maybe not starting Salah with no Hugo, probably no Isak. Gakpo having not worked through the centre for every game we've played so far. It just doesn't make any sense, does it, not to play him? It would really be, like, it would turn nasty. I really think it would. I think the fans would boo when the team's read out if Salah's not in the 11, and they'll certainly be singing his name all the way through the game. Mark said, apparently there was meetings this week to discuss Slot's future. Edwards and Hughes to be gone later this year after new managers in place. That's what I believe as well, Mark. That's absolutely what I believe, mate. And like I've said, I'll read out again yesterday this post from Nick Collins. And Nick, I tell you how little I know Nick. Nick has us blocked. So Nick obviously doesn't like me one bit. But Nick posted yesterday and said, just found out from a friend of mine, Slot is gone. Friend of mine at the club, Slot is gone. He's not being sacked, but it's mutual from both parties for a clean break. It'll be announced next week. They're trying to get IRAOLA as a replacement. Take it with a pinch of salt, but personally I believe it. And then we had Dave Hendrick, who I've said before is one of the writers with Anfield Index. And Dave basically quote tweeted that post to say, where is it? One sec. Maybe I don't have the Dave one here. Maybe it's in Connor's. One sec. Sorry, I want to read this out again. Bear with me. Yeah. So Dave Hendrick, you can check this post yourself on X, said, have known Nick on and off on here for 10 years. Never once seen him tweet anything like this. Never once seen him do anything for personal attention. Largely spends his time on here advocating for disabled people and their rights, which again, fair play to Nick on that. One of the good ones, somebody people should be following, even though he could be cranky at times. So he's putting this out in good faith, and I believe it too. So coincidentally, this guy gets the very same information I get, and I don't know him. And it's pretty much, other than he has a time frame and I don't know. It's pretty coincidental. Or else somebody very well connected is going around telling a lot of porkies. Craig, just ignore the haters. You've more than proven that you and your sources are trustworthy, and if they can't be patient with the info you give them, then that's on them, not you. Keep going. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I've said before, I get impatient. I'm fucking impatient with it. I want to wake up tomorrow and see he's gone. Because every day he's here, the damage is getting worse, in my opinion. The fan base morale's getting lower. There's more likelihood of certain players leaving. Curtis Jones being one, and we'll talk about Curtis in a little while because there's more stuff in the media today about Curtis Jones' future. DCM, how are you, mate? Said, hey Craig, hope you're well, bro. Like the sound of IRAOLA too. Seems quite ahead of the game tactically. Ignore the haters, they're just jealous, mate. Did you see the information, DCM? The interview that, I don't know what podcast he was on, but Antoine Semenyo spoke about IRAOLA, and I liked what I heard because he said we don't get days off. We might get one day off if we're lucky, but he comes in and he makes us work, and he makes us work hard. It sounds the polar opposite of the spoofer that's in the job now, and it sounds more like the way the club used to be when Klopp was there, that you basically train so hard that by the time the match comes around, your fitness is at a level where your exertion on a match day seems second nature to you. Whereas with Slot, it's been very different since he's put his own stamp on it halfway through last year. It's been very different the way we've seen Liverpool evolve and the way Liverpool train, and the fitness has just dropped off and the intensity's dropped off. So yeah, there's a lot of good noises coming out around the IRAOLA side of it, but I don't know that he's the guy. I know his name has been mentioned, but I also know Honus's name has been mentioned. Who they decide to take the plunge with, I have my own preference. You know, if I'm being really honest with you, I probably would go towards Honus, but I understand the IRAOLA stuff as well. Like everybody else, I would be concerned about a big step up, but you know, Slot came from the Eredivisie with Feyenoord, and there was a big step up there. Unfortunately, I think that's ultimately failed, but I don't think there is a silver bullet out there that gets this done, gets the right coach in, and none of us have any doubts about it outside of Luis Enrique, who's just gone. I can't stand Slot anymore. Slot, he waffles a lot. He's just so... The word I'd use is arrogant, if I'm being really honest. I can't take to him and his style. I just am a very different person to Arne. The arrogance... Do you know what? I was even watching Virgil speaking today on Mohamed Salah's goodbye video, and I couldn't even see emotion in Virgil. It was weird. Like I don't know. There's just not enough fire in the dressing room for me at the minute. Not enough fucking anger going through that team. Stephen said, after Salah's post, do you reckon in hindsight there may be more to Trent's exit last year than meets the eye? Not excusing it, just thinking out loud. I'm not sure, because it hasn't exactly gone swimmingly for Trent in his career, has it, since he's gone to Madrid? He hasn't made the England World Cup squad, hasn't made the last England camp, if I think. I haven't really paid too much attention to England because obviously I'm Irish, but at Madrid he hasn't exactly had a stellar season. That team's all over the shop, infighting all over the place. So I don't know why he left. Trent's the only one that knows the answer to that. But I do think, yes, there are warning signs. Like, the biggest warning signs for me have been Curtis Jones and Alisson Becker. Their, what's the right phrase here? Willingness to talk about potential moves away or being open to it. It baffles me, particularly Curtis Jones. Like, why would Curtis Jones want to leave Liverpool Football Club? I know the company line is because he wants more game time and that, but I just think it's the manager. I really just think these guys don't believe in him. And if Hughes and Edwards and FSG do make the decision to stick with him, they are sticking a dagger into the backs of their own football club, in my opinion. It will be yet another decision we talk about that they've gotten completely wrong. And for them, I think FSG need to get this one right, because they got it wrong before. They got it wrong with Rodgers. They went too long. And they've already fucked up a whole season this year. Like, I'm angry that they didn't do something in January. I'm angry that we didn't get a centre-back and we didn't get a wide player. I'm angry that they were willing to write off the season. And we cannot do that again. We cannot go into next season see them fail come September, October, and then be chasing our tails all year. It makes no sense. Are you watching the boxing in Egypt tomorrow? Yes, of course. Yeah, definitely. I'm intrigued more than anything. I'm intrigued to see the backdrop of it all as well, but I don't see anything other than it being fairly straightforward for Usyk. Spurs fired Ange in early June. Surely slot goes. Look, my guess would be kind of in line with what Nick said, but I've never been given a time frame. But next week would make sense. You want to get it done early because you want to get another coach in. But right now, IRAOLA has interest in him from Bayer Leverkusen. He has interest in him from Crystal Palace. He has interest in him from Liverpool. How that all pans out, I don't know. I'm not in IRAOLA's camp. But part one of the process will be the announcement of slot going. But look at today at the AXA. Today. And you can't blame E-Reds on this one. There's a banner outside the AXA today saying slot out. The fan base is lack of desire to get behind this manager is pretty apparent. So what's the upside of FSG here, keeping him in? They're not going to get the buy-in from fans, so they're basically just fucking themselves over. And I don't think that they have enough evidence to have the faith in Slot. Outside if he won the league. And surely anybody with half a brain can see how we won the league in year one. And what's happened since then. And he hasn't been able to get it back. And that's the key point here. He has not been able to wrestle back the intensity and the style of this team. And that's after adding 450 million quid's worth of talent into it. He's gone backwards. And hasn't rescued it all year. 5th in the Premier League. And we might just scrape 5th. So like I said, imagine there wasn't an extra place this season for the Champions League. This is a very different conversation. So surely to God, the fact that there's a bonus place for English teams, you would think that would scare them into going, fuck, we got away with one here, haven't we? But if they double down on this, they're just messing up their own club. Like, sincerely, they're just shitting the bed on their own club. Again. And they're going to get an even bigger backlash from fans. And I don't think FSG have the PR wiggle room right now with what's going on in Boston and how their fans have been angry over there. I don't think they have the ability to have sets of fans from every club that they're owners of angry at them for their own lack of doing the right thing or being transparent about things. I'm not trying to question you or trust you. That's why I'm here and I'm a member. Honestly, I think you're the best out there. Thank you, Hamoudi. I am a bit defensive today, mate, so my apologies on that. But I'm a bit defensive because I've seen the comments over the last few days on the account. And I've tried not to bite on them, when I'm scrolling through after streams and stuff to like a few posts and stuff. But man, I just feel like sometimes you can't win on the internet. You just can't win, You come on because, I was excited to get the news that he's going. So I wanted to obviously share the relief I felt with the people that mean the most to me, which is, of course, our community. So I'll come on to try and do that, knowing that I'm leaving myself exposed somewhat. But I wanted to just give other people the release that I've had. But since then, look, it's been a lot of anxiety. Like I said, a couple of panic attacks. And just been tough for me. But like I've always said, nobody puts words in my mouth. What I say, I take responsibility for, and I will never excuse if I'm wrong. I've offered to resign if I'm wrong. I messaged Connor last night and said, mate, if I'm wrong on this and our reputation takes a hit, I'll walk away. I've no problem with that. I made the decision to speak. Nobody put words in my mouth. Nobody forced me to say anything. Probably could have sat it out, waited a bit longer, but I'm more than happy with the information that I have. And I've shared it with Keane only so people can understand that at least Keane has seen what I've seen and knows why I've come to the conclusion that I have. So it's important to me that he and the moderators know that they're not backing a spoofer, they're not backing a liar, and I'm not just on here trying to make stuff up for them. I've shared a lot of stuff with Keane, and he sees exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. Where are we at? Matt. And I don't mean to put Keane on the spot, by the way. I really don't mean to put Keane on the spot. I shared it with Keane because it's important to me that as me leading this community, that he knows he's not backing a spoofer. You know, because Keane and the mods put an incredible amount of work in on the channel. They need to know that they're dealing with somebody who's being honest with them. Hey Craig, big fan of the channel, thank you. Mika Gotts from Ajax could be an excellent attacking option, quick, dynamic and creative. Keep up the good work. So that is a name, not that I've seen really linked to Liverpool as such, Matt, but it's a name that I've seen linked to being one of the next big things. I don't really watch the Eredivisie, so I have no idea about the young lad, but I have heard his name mentioned as being an exciting prospect for the future. Right, let's look at our poll. So we asked, should Liverpool spend €100 million on Yan DIOMANDE? And it's closer than I thought. 60% of you guys said yes, 40% said no. Any other poll suggestions that you'd like put up? I'm here to serve. Let me know. Just so you guys know, I won't be live tomorrow. We're going to take tomorrow off. We always try to take the alternative day from the match day off at the weekend. So the preview will be coming out tomorrow morning. It was going to come out tonight, but I'm going to do a news video at the end of the stream because there's a few bits of information that we have that I want to talk about there. So the preview will come out tomorrow morning. I'll probably throw out a news video at some point tomorrow, but there won't be a live stream, and then we'll be back here for the game at the weekend, of course, kicking off at 4 p.m. So we'll be live from 2:45. Sorry, a couple of messages coming in here. Where's this one coming from? So, Sports Pete O'Rourke, I believe, said Liverpool would love to sign Levi Colwill and will capitalise on the defender's contract situation at Chelsea. That's an interesting one because Levi Colwill's name is one that doesn't really go away from Liverpool. Whenever he is in any way linked with a move away from Chelsea, Liverpool's name is constantly mentioned with Colwill. I don't know what to make of it, really, to be honest, because the Canade situation is, like, if I'm FSG, I'm looking at that and going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on with Canade? Like, this is the last game on Sunday, and as fans, we don't know yet if we're saying goodbye to him or not. We don't know if we're saying goodbye to Jones. We don't know if we're saying goodbye to Allison. Like, there's so much uncertainty at the minute that even if we didn't have to talk about the manager situation, even if we were just here talking about transfers and talking about other things, we're in a pretty worrying time for me right now, which I still can't believe we're here from last summer. Why are you saying that Honus has managed a bigger club than IRAOLA? Well, firstly, you spelled literally everything in that sentence incorrectly with regards to names. And when did I say Honus has managed a bigger club than IRAOLA? I mean, again, talk about putting words in my mouth, bro. If I did say that, I don't remember it, but has he managed? Yes, he has. Like, is there any doubt that Stuttgart is a bigger club than Bournemouth? Is that doubt? Is there any doubt that Stuttgart's a bigger club than Rayo Vallecano? I don't think that would, if I did say it, even be a strange statement. Yeah. So if I said it, fair enough. I don't remember it, but I think it's right anyway. Rich said, out of all the new signings, only one player adopted Liverpool mentality, Ekitike. Slot had a chance with his team. He failed. Time to accept it. I would say failure's even been too kind there, Rich. Like, it takes a special kind of gobshite to make a team worse adding in that amount of talent. Like, I think you and I, Rich, could have made a better go of it this year than he has. Like, I still don't know what he wants to do with Isak. I still don't know how he wants to get the best out of him. I don't know why we signed Frimpong. Again, not because he's not a good player, because he doesn't fit into anywhere we need or have a space. And too often, I've seen too many of our signings being spoken about as being multifaceted, when right now we probably need a couple of specialists in areas. No more one player who can play in 3 or 4 positions. We need a DM. We need an attacking wide player. We need a right back. We need actual bona fide positional players. When does Kwanzaa's buyback clause run out? So it hasn't even kicked in yet, Dark Ruby. The buyback clause, to the best of my understanding, only comes into force from next summer. So I don't even think, and I might be wrong on this, but I don't even think that the buyback clause is active at the minute. To my understanding, that's only from next summer. I think there was 2 years that he was to be left at Leverkusen, and then it kicks in. But again, don't take that as a fact. That's just my recollection. Leach, how are you, mate? Hey, Craig, hope you're well. I won't lie, I'm on the beach getting ready for the World Cup. Might actually see some good football this summer. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting tournament. Spain, France, Portugal, probably the 3 teams for me that I think will do something special over there. Norway going to be an interesting one. They've got some good talent as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on. The England squad selection is strange. There's some things in there that I can't get my head around. But it'll be an interesting tournament, that's for sure. And also, in another way, I'll be glad to see the back of this tournament, because this tournament, I think, has been the biggest insult to football fans of any international tournament in recent times, because it's been very clearly a money grab. It's a huge cash grab. It's a huge cash grab for certain states. It's a huge cash grab for FIFA. It's been disgusting to just see the extortionate cost for football fans for this tournament. Do you believe Andoni Iraola is a smokescreen and FSG have already got another coach lined up? I wouldn't know. Look, I think Andoni Iraola's name should genuinely be in the mix. Hona's name should be in the mix. Nagelsmann's name should be in the mix. But I'm more concerned about the judgment after the hames that they've made of recent decisions. Like, as a fan, how am I supposed to have faith in the same people that made the decision to bring Slot in to do it again and get it right? I don't know. I'm struggling with that, because whatever that data showed up, if anybody thought this guy was going to be the motivational man we needed, they've been very fucking wrong. Like, I just don't even think he doesn't even come across to me as a Liverpool manager. Will you cover any games of the World Cup? Absolutely, yep. I'll be starting working from the office from start of June, so we will definitely be doing some World Cup games. Probably try to cover it with a Liverpool twist. So, let's say the Netherlands, probably do some of their games because we'll have players involved in it. So yeah, we'll probably try to link it in with Liverpool and our coverage of it. But yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to just ask flat out what you guys think on the manager. One sec. So, will Slot be here when the new season starts? So I've seen mixed things in the chat. Some people say, Craig, I think he's going to be here. Some people say you're a lying piece of shit. Some people say, Craig, I believe you. Push all that aside. Whatever you think of me or whatever, just let me know. Do you think that Arne Slot will be here next season? Jose Mourinho, Thomas Tuchel, and others spoke about next season before being sacked. Today felt like PR, excuse me, hiccups. PR damage control. Stay strong, Craig. You always learn in this situation, and I've learned a lot about what I should and shouldn't say in the future. I probably should have remembered the Vert situation in the summer and how mentally that took a toll on me waiting for it to happen. But my excitement to share some positive news after a season of incredibly shitty performances and anger from us all probably usurped my self-preservation. And I definitely regret saying what I've said because I did not expect to be met with as much frustration around it. So certainly lesson learned for me on that one. I don't doubt the information, and I would still say the same things to my mates and people that I speak to on a daily basis off camera. But I definitely was a bit naive in the response that I was expecting from it. But look, that's on me. Like I said, I make the decision to speak or not. But it definitely hasn't made me want to be more open going forward because I don't understand. There's not much. I haven't enjoyed the last 4 or 5 days. Put it that way. It's been really tough going. Knowing you're coming onto a stream each night to take some people to take cheap shots. It definitely hurts your psyche. But I understand the frustrations. IRAOLA's a good coach, but still lacks something like a character to fight back with the so-called board. Because if not, I think the cycle will happen again. But not sure who will accept if FSU who will fit except the big name. The whole worry about bringing in somebody that has a fighting spirit or wants more control. I've never understood this. I understand the cautiousness of not wanting somebody to walk in straight away and just have control from the get-go. But I don't understand a situation where, like, surely that's what you want. Like, if you're FSG and you're owning the club, or even me as a fan, I would expect a new coach to come in and be a coach at the start, yes, but earn the right to have a bit more say as the years go on and as your stature at the club grows and as you achieve more and as you prove your worth. So I've never really understood the mentality of being afraid of a big personality unless you're very ruthless about being in control and controlling everything. Because as a fan, I want somebody that I can believe in. But I don't believe in Hughes and Edwards' methods because they seem, and they certainly are being perceived as being, what's the phrase I'd use? Arrogant, and at the same time, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Paranoid, maybe. You know, they certainly seem to not want anybody with a strong presence or will or personality. And I don't know if the whole Klopp battle scarred Hughes or Sue Edwards, but it's been weird. Like, all the way to that Melissa Reddy piece where she said, would one of the things that counts against Alonso be that he comes in with a big backing from the fans? Like, I don't understand why that's wrong. Like, that should be what you dream of. Any club appointing a head coach or a manager should immediately want to buy in from fans and excitement about it. Trek War said, looking good, bro. Definitely seeing the weight loss in your face. Well done. Thank you, my man. I'm down, what is it now? I don't know what it is in kilos because I'm still old money, but I'm down about 16.5 pounds in the first 6 weeks or so. So yeah, definitely happy. It's been tough going at times. I've had some uncomfortable streams, shall we say, because of the side effects and that, but chugging along. But look, I don't want any praise for it, Ratton, because I'm disgusted I got to that position, and I need to sort it out because I'm not getting any younger, and I want to be around for my kids and my grandkids, and I want to be a bit healthier. So, yeah, thank you, because I feel a bit better. Stevie Boy said, I witnessed 9 years of unbelievable football from two legends, Mo and Robbo. I'd like to say thank you. As would I, mate. Yeah, totally echo that sentiment. And I've loved them both very differently. I've loved Mohamed Salah for the greatness, for the world stage that he helped push us back onto, and for just how he conducts himself as a human being. But I have to say, on a personal level, I've probably connected more with Robertson, because that's the type of character that I'd be rooting for. The underdog, somebody who didn't have, and I'm not saying Salah had an easy route, because he did not. Absolutely, he did not. But there was something very working class, ordinary, relatable about Andy Robertson and his story that I think all of us just loved. Loved seeing this 8 million quid signing, or 8.5 million quid signing from Hull, turn into be one of the best left backs the Premier League era. It's just such a beautiful fairy tale story. Like, if you look back at some of those signings and the impact they've had at the club, like Salah's 36, 38 million quid fee, that looks like we absolutely robbed Roma. Andy Robertson's 8 million quid fee, Bobby Firmino's fee to Hoffenheim, Sadio Mane's fee, all of those things. Like, even Jurgen said in Mohamed Salah's piece that the club put out today that he probably didn't even realise at the time what a front three he had. Or maybe, I don't want to say didn't appreciate it enough, but he certainly said that it was better than he thought at that time. Like, he probably didn't appreciate it as much, because that front three, my God, how special were they? And then you had Robbo, obviously Trent on the right. We just had a team, a machine. Watching back some Mo's highlights, the goals he scored, the big nights he's involved in, we were fucking brilliant. Like, what a joy to watch that team for those 9 years. Absolutely incredible, and we've been blessed with the right caliber of players, on the pitch and off the pitch, and as good fellas as well. Russian Honey Badger, how are you, my friend? Hey Craig, even though you regret telling the source about Slot, I'm here to thank you, because you made me feel good about life again, knowing Arna is out. Love you. Thank you, bro. That's exactly how I felt. I just felt relief, mate, because I didn't think there was any light at the end of this tunnel. And when you've seen so much, he's staying, being rammed out there in the media, even though I knew who was pushing that narrative and why they were pushing it, it's been... Look, I don't know how long you've all been watching Liverpool. For me, it's, I'm watching Liverpool. This would be my 38th year watching Liverpool, and I don't remember feeling as angry and as hurt and as disappointed in a season as I have this season. And I definitely do include the Hodgson years in that, because I knew what we were then. I knew what to expect of us then. I knew what we were capable of then, and I knew we weren't winning anything. I knew that we weren't the best team in England. I knew that we hadn't got the best players. I knew that we weren't the financial powerhouse that we are. So for this to have gone from the excitement of August to this, I've never seen anything like it. Never. I've never seen one season a fall from grace like we've seen this year. I think people will study it. I think people will study it and try to figure out how the fuck it moved that quickly. Because not even that, like, results are one thing, but the sentiment of a fan base as well, from here down to where we're at in 10 months, it's extraordinary. Like, remembering that we're a fan base that is more patient than a lot of clubs, and still within the course of one season all of that frustration built up to the point where people were leaving early, people were booing. I've never seen a season like it. I've never suffered as much as a fan in a season. And then, of course, we all have the memory of Diogo and Andre's accident and the pain that had as well last summer. It's been the most emotional season for sure as a Liverpool fan, and I dare say probably for many of us. Paddy Wacker, Craig, I care about you and your mental health. If needs be, put stuff like this behind a paywall, bro. No, I don't believe in paywalls. For fan content, I don't believe in it for us. I made a promise from day one: we won't do a paywall, and we will never have a paywall, because I believe. No, not that I believe. That's probably not even right. I want our content to be accessible for everyone, and I want people to be able to interact with our content all the time. And I don't want people who might not be in a financial position to pay for a paywall to have to miss out on something like that, or information, or it doesn't sit right with me, and I've always been against it. I'm not judgmental, others that do have it, crack on, you be you. But the model that we went for and the model that we've backed ourselves to do is to continue to grow, and that eventually everything falls into place, and the all that side of it is irrelevant. So yeah, I don't like paywalls for fan channels. I don't agree with them, but that's just my perspective. Plus, I promised you from day one there wouldn't be one. Fuck the haters. We want to hear what you have to say. Thank you, my man. Craig, do you plan to watch Honus final DFB Pokal against Bayern? Yes, I do. I certainly do. It definitely feels as if there's been more of a twist towards IRAOLA in the last few days based off what's happening in the media. Where do we... do you guys think IRAOLA would be good enough? If you woke up next Wednesday and you seen that Arna had been mutually agreed to leave and that Liverpool were trending towards Andoni IRAOLA, would you as a fan be happy about that? Because I would be understanding of it, but I would definitely always have some reservations. But my reservations are ones that I don't think could be answered until he's in the job, if that makes sense. I don't know what type of leader he'll be until I see him on the training ground, until we see him in press conferences, until we get to know him a bit more. So I would say that any concerns I have couldn't be fixed. But if they believe he's the right guy with the right brand of football, I'll get behind them. Same as if it's Honus, same as if it's Nagelsmann. Whoever the next head coach will be will 100% be getting a clean slate for me. But, there's some reservations about a lot of names because there isn't real gimmies out there in world football anymore. John W. Henry's in Mallorca, Spain. I think his yacht is on Ibiza at the minute. I think his yacht is his anchor just moved from Mallorca to Ibiza. So I don't know what's going on there, to be fair. Can't imagine him and Linda heading to Pasha or anything like that for a 6 a.m. rave up, but I don't know. What do you say to Jurgen and Pep to manage a Liverpool Legends game together? Would be class. Which Pep are we talking about? Pep Linders can slither off and fuck off somewhere. But if Klopp and Guardiola come back on either side of a dugout for a bit of a charity game, that'd be cool, yeah. That'd be fun. Bobby said, finally back. Not much, just want to show love. Man, I appreciate you being here, Bobby. Thank you, bro. This season we'll have documentaries made about it. It's mad. This season has really put to question this whole data bullshit. I say data bullshit, that's unfair of me. This season has really, I think, highlighted that too much emphasis maybe has gone into the data side of it and not enough emphasis on the human side of it. Because, even hearing Arna today in his press conference say things like, this is my first season not winning something as a manager. he still even now feels arrogant to me. And you didn't win something. And you said yourself, mate, excuses were for people who don't win the league. That's what his words. So I'm fed up of his excuses, and I just want rid of him. I can't stand him anymore, and I won't buy into an Arne Slot Liverpool team. I just can't. I don't like him. Our fall from grace underlines how good Klopp was, and a warning to FSG that Slot was not really that good. So I think, again, in Melissa Reddy's thing, she said maybe the data from Will Spearman and his algorithm showed that Slot was the right man at that particular moment. And I think they would say that's proved correct because they won the league. But again, I think, as Melissa said, if you ran that algorithm right now, I'd be very, very surprised again. Because, like, again, right now, I'm asking you, what's Arne Slot's footballing philosophy? Because all the things he talks about are not what we've witnessed. You know, we've seen the possession stuff at times, but it's possession with no intent. The pressing isn't there. And again, he's talking transfers, whereas with Klopp, polar opposite. He kept talking about how good and how underrated players at the club were and how coaching can improve. Arne just seems like he wants to go to the shop for everything. Want to be out there, want to spend money, more transfers. People don't... He actually said with a straight face, people don't understand how important transfers are. With a straight fucking face. After spending the whole year crying to the media that nobody reported enough about the money that we brought back in from sales and that 450 million was everywhere but this club sells, blah, blah, blah. And then he bangs on about how important transfers are. You couldn't make it up, like. He's an absolute fucking hypocrite. 90% possession, then 10% panic last 5-10 minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right. I know, like, I still don't know how to, like, if I was to explain to a friend what Liverpool's style is, I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue in the same way I don't know which Liverpool's going to show up from one week to the next. Our fall from grace underlines how good Klopp was, and a warning to FSG, the slot was really not that good. Yeah, like, surely they can see that the methods that he uses training-wise are bollocks. Like, let's go back to what we were told when he came in, right? This was the pitch for Arne Slot. He overachieved against clubs with bigger financial power. He keeps players fit for longer than other coaches. And he plays a brand of football that is not too much of an upheaval from the brand we played with Jurgen. They were the three things that we were pitched as Liverpool fans. Is any one of them right? Has he managed to keep more players fit? Has he fuck? This season, he's absolutely gone the polar opposite of that. And you've seen players not with injuries before suddenly start to have injuries. Is he the same type of coach and sets his team up anywhere near what you recognise from Jurgen's era? Absolutely not. And has he been able to overachieve with the budget that he's been given? Absolutely not. He's been given more money than any other head coach in Liverpool's history and is still fucking moaning about it. So all those things that they told us this showed and that this data pointed to are so far wrong. Way off. So they have to, like, just put your fucking hands up, lads, and say you made a mistake. Ethan said, I'd be very surprised if Slot goes. Why though, mate? Why would you be surprised? Like, what's the plus? Like, what's the upside of keeping him? You're just kicking the failure can down the road a few months. I just don't see an argument, mate, a valid argument to keep him. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what if we get PSG in the Champions League next season in the knockout phase? We might as well just not show up. We might as well just say, fair enough, lads, we'll give you a bye, save on the plane journey, save the fans the hassle. And League Cup. What happens if we go into the League Cup again next year and he wants 3 points in the league a week later? Are we throwing away another trophy again? We are bitch slapped by Man City in the FA Cup, beaten home and away by PSG, beaten twice by United, 3 times by City, Palace, Community Shield, lost, League Cup, lost, FA Cup, bitch slapped, can't defend a set piece, threw Aaron Briggs under the bus. I don't get it. I just do not understand how it's even a debate anymore. If they are serious about our football club, they have to grow a pair, because if they don't grow a pair, we're fucked. And I mean, we will end up in that Manchester United spiral out of their own hubris and arrogance. Slot has mentioned next season so many times. I really hope you're right. And what would you expect him to say, Ethan? Would you expect him to win and go, this game we have at the weekend that might get us Champions League football or not, that we have to somehow get a result in and make sure we don't have a 6-goal swing? Well, I'm off anyway, so fuck all of them. I won't be here. I mean, I don't know what you expect him to say, mate, but I can show you press conferences from 10 other managers that have ended up getting sacked that have talked about next season and guaranteed that they were going to be there. I don't know what else to say, but I also don't care at this point, because I can't win either way. Nobody's going to give me credit who doubted me when I'm proved right, and if I'm proved wrong, everybody's going to weigh in. So I can't win in this situation anyway. And like I've said, 2 things here. I've offered my resignation if I'm wrong to Connor, and I definitely will be thinking far strongly, if I do stay on board, about ever saying anything again, because there's no upside to it for me. It's just all grief. Did I miss something important? Not too much. I'm going to lean more into the transfer side of stuff now. So Mike McGrath has said that IRAOLA is a target for Bayer Leverkusen should they change coach this summer. And again, Crystal Palace we know there as well. David Ornstein said, ideally RB Leipzig want to keep Jan DIOMANDE for another season, but if suitable proposals arrive, a transfer could happen. The German side would aim to recoup in excess of €100 million. This from Football Insider. They say AC Milan and Roma are exploring a move for Mohamed Salah ahead of the summer transfer window. Saudi clubs remain interested, but a return to Serie A is now seen as a genuine possibility for the Liverpool star once he leaves Anfield. Salah previously starred for both Fiorentina and Roma. I have no idea if he goes back to Italy or not. Haven't got a clue. I don't know what happens with Mo next. On deciding to leave Liverpool, Mohamed Salah said this: I have no regrets. My decision will be the same if it repeats again, because I took time to accept the decision. I took time to change the decision, but things weren't going in the right direction. So I decided in the end, you know what, this is the right thing for me to do, and fans will know that I gave it all, and they appreciate what I've done. I have peace with the decision. I have peace with everything. David Ornstein also, Liverpool have put themselves in a strong position with the player, Jan DIOMANDE, and if progress continues, club-to-club talks are expected to follow. Then we had James Pearce confirming that Pep Linders will slither out of Manchester City this summer when Pep Guardiola jumps ship as well. So that being confirmed, he'll leave. I will read out some of what Arne Slot said today, just because you guys have brought up enough about him saying he's staying. Let me read it out. In an exclusive interview with Sky Sports suggesting signings can unlock Liverpool, Arne said this: I particularly mean one team that were maybe struggling a bit like us in the first half of the season, but added 2 players in the second half of the season. I don't even know if they've lost a game, maybe only in the Champions League, so it can have a big impact. That's not only about those 2, but sometimes the players can be a missing link in what is missing. But it should not be all about 1 or 2 players we might bring in. It also depends on about evolving the ones we brought in last season and the ones we already have longer. And I think there's a lot to be won for us to win in things. There's a lot to be won for us to win in things we can improve compared to this season. And one of the things, of course, is having players available. But the second thing we have to do better is defensively and offensively. And hopefully signing 1 or 2 players can even accelerate that involvement. Does any of that to you sound like a solution? Or anything close to resembling a solution? Again, all that is more hypothetical bullshit and waffle from a man who doesn't want to admit the job's too big for him. No plan. Just more signings. Oh, that's what we need. And he hasn't even got the balls to say Manchester City there. Our team signed 2 players in January. Yeah, mate. 2 players that you and your lot sat there and let them sign because their owners don't give a fuck about winning. And I said that then, and I'll say it now. FSG are never ever focused on winning. They want Champions League football and they want the money into Liverpool and they want the club's valuation to go up. But whether we win or not in the process, I don't think they give a fuck about. Because every year, when it comes to January, there are things that we should be doing. And our centre-back situation got worse after the summer window closed before January. Worse. And they still wouldn't budge. So I don't really care what words comes out of Arna's mouth because it's all just meh to me. Because everything he says is a fucking excuse and an pawning off of responsibility elsewhere. Then there was the post from Anfield edition. A slot out banner was placed at the AXA training centre today. The betting odds, by the way, have been very interesting. Now, I don't know if these odds are still correct at this exact moment in time, but as per when I took this earlier on, the odds for Liverpool's next manager are crazy. And Donny IRAOLA has come in a long way. He's now 4-7 on to become the next Liverpool manager. Sebastian Hoeneß is out at 6-1. Luis Enrique again 6-1. Julian Nagelsmann 13-2, and Klopp out 9-1. That's a big move. And like there's seemingly a lot of money gone down there over the past few days on IRAOLA. Because those odds are short. What else was there? Oh, let's talk about Yakuba Minta here for a minute. So Matt Thielen, and Matt's definitely worth a follow if you're on social media. Matt Thielen said, exclusive, Liverpool have made contact with the representatives of Brighton winger Yakuba Minta about a potential summer transfer. The pacey winger is said to be keen on the move. I'm not as excited by this prospect, lads, as I would be about, let's say, a DIOMANDE or whatever. But you know what? I could be just wrong. I could be wrong because there have been players before that I wouldn't have said were the most exciting potential signings that have come in and ended up being really good. And Salah was one of them. I thought Salah would be a decent signing, but I wasn't sitting here thinking he was going to do what he's done over the time he's been here. I was nowhere near close to that. So I might be absolutely wrong on Minta, not exciting me personally. But let me know what you guys think about him. Also, Romano and others said Liverpool agreed deal to sign Samuel Martinez from Atletico Nacional. Here we go. Deal in place for 17-year-old Colombian talent to join in 2027 as soon as he turns 18. Also, Borussia Dortmund and others were trying to get his signature. Ben Spochak on his thoughts on signing Samuel Martinez said he averaged 7.23 dribbles per 90 minutes at the under-17 Cannonball and completed 62.5% of his attempts. He also averaged 3.25 progressive runs per 90 minutes, the second highest among midfielders. He's a brilliant ball carrier, works a ton off the ball too, and covers a lot of ground. Liverpool are getting a genuine gem of a midfielder. Then we also have the club confirming today that Mohamed Salah has won the Standard Chartered Player of the Month for April, and congratulations to Mo. Matt Law, The Telegraph, said Rio Ngamoa will travel with England for their World Cup training squad, even though the player will not be in the actual squad. And then we have news that Yan Diomande has been crowned a Bundesliga Rookie of the Season for 25-26. This is a really interesting one, folks, that I actually meant to bring up earlier on in the stream, but didn't get round to it, so I'll do it now. Team Talk have said Newcastle are facing a major battle to keep hold of £55 million rated Lewis Hall this summer. Manchester United, Bayern Munich and Liverpool are all monitoring the England international, with Bayern now stepping up their interest. Newcastle do not want to sell and are prepared to take a strong stance over the 21-year-old. Now, I guess my question here is, why are Liverpool in the mix or even looking for somebody like Hull? I think he's a great player, by the way, and I'd have him at Liverpool, no problem. But we have a left back, a young left back that we've brought in, and we think Costas is coming in to take Robbo's spot, but he's a left-footed left back, so it's not like they're signing him to play on the opposite side or something. So to see us linked with him, I was a little bit surprised by, because I can't figure out the thought process on it. Romano said Liverpool are in active talks with Yan Diamande's agents. PSG are also in contact. Diamande has to decide whether to go to PSG or Liverpool. I would say if he, again, I don't know this to be a fact, I'm trying to just put two and two together. If we lost out on Diamande, and I don't know if we win that battle or not, but if we lost out on Diamande, I would be pretty sure we end up going for Barcola, because Barcola would probably then want out if Diamande went in. So I think at this point, I'd be really surprised if we don't end up with one of those two, just looking at the lay of the land, without having actual information on it. Raekwon, IRAOLA really impressed me with how he's handled losing Semenyo and other important players with attractive football. Still steaming Xabi wasn't signed. I don't mind them not going with Alonso if it was a football decision. Like if it was about the style, the squad, the way they want to play. No problem with it. But yeah, I would also have no problem if we went for him, because I'd have loved Alonso. So yeah, that one is an interesting one. IRAOLA, he's definitely overachieved everywhere he's been. He's been at clubs that have been selling clubs, and he's always found a way to get a bit more. And I watched the video today, you might have seen the same clip of him on the training pitch with Bournemouth at the start of the summer camp, where he talked about how they were going to play this season and had very clear instructions for the players. And then you've seen the stuff with Semenyo talking about how hard he worked them in training and stuff. And all of that feels so much of a refreshing look compared to, our lads juggling fucking balls and walking around the pitch and, I don't know, giving birth to footballs or whatever it is that they do when they're not actually working on the football pitch because of the way the manager trains. I wish he knew what we were all hoping for. Does he? For Slot to be sacked, he'd have to be absolutely tone deaf at this point to not see it. Like 6.5 million Liverpool fans. Like, remember that. It's more than that, 6.7 million Liverpool fans signed a petition to get rid of the manager. So FSG are shooting their own wallets if they stick here and don't make the right call. But I believe that call's already been made, like I've said. Shane said Sunday will be a sweet day. Both Pep and Salah's last games, probably the two biggest pains in the backside for the last 10 years. Bye-bye Pep and Mo. But one of those two isn't a cheating piece of shit. And the other one, well, So, yeah, I get it, Shane. I get it. I see you finally gave Carrick the job on a 2-year contract as well. I still can't believe you've done that. I really can't, mate. I think, where's the common sense there? You can argue that he's done enough to get the job, but there was supposed to be no way he gets the job. There's supposed to be steady the ship and get a new coach in. And I think I'd be amazed if he's still there in 18 months. I think he's done a great job to get United into the Champions League, and he's certainly brought some fire back into that dressing room. But I think ultimately this is going to be the wrong decision for United, and of course I'm happy about that. But then again, I'm looking at a huge decision at our club and hoping that we don't shit the bed on it, because it could set us back another 3, 4, 5 years. Shane said, I'd have loved IRAOLA, and I think he would suit you perfectly as well. I really hope you don't get IRAOLA. I think his style of play is brilliant. Yeah, whoever the next coach is for Liverpool, Shane, I'm at least looking forward to identifying with the football again. Like, the one thing that really gripes me about Slot's 2 years at the club has been how slowly we start games. Like in his first year when we won the league, one of the things that we talked about from a positive sense with Arna was that he was able to figure things out at half time and win games in the second half. But I'm a bit more of the mindset of I want to win games as early as possible and then make the changes, not to try and feel our way into games. Like part of our DNA and our identity was starting fast and getting stuck into teams and having that 15-20 minute period where we would blow teams away and they couldn't live with us. But under the pragmatic approach from Slot, it's just been a very different animal. And whatever the hybrid he's tried to use, the possession has been shite. It's been no cutting edge to it, nothing. It's just been boring, monotonous, crappy football that is moments, just individual moments more than anything. Potentially you can get Gordon and Bowen for the same money as for DIOMANDE. Kid is too young and not tested. I don't think so. I think for my guesstimations, they're going to want 65 for Gordon, maybe higher, 65 to 70. And I would say a realistic number to try and get Bowen would be 40. And I don't know of any appetite for Liverpool to go after the Gordon deal again. I wouldn't be against it, by the way. I just don't know. I don't know of anything there. And look, if you're Newcastle, far more appealing to you to sell Anthony Gordon outside the Premier League than to sell him to Liverpool. You can imagine the reaction from Newcastle fans if another one of their players ends up at Anfield. David said, Slot needs to go so I can buy the new home shirts. Yeah, same. Not for me, but for my son, definitely. 40 for Bowen, isn't he 29? He is 29, but Harry Kane was 29 and went for 100 million. So, look, 29, like Bowen still has, for me, 4 years left minimum at the top level. And 40 includes the English tax of him being a homegrown player. So I would happily see us spend 40 million on him and not get a return on it, but get the 4 years out of him and allow the younger players then to progress through. But you're going to have to fire your source based on what Lewis Steele is saying. Am I? Cool. And that's because you say so. Jackie, is it? Cool. And what's this? Was this the Lewis Steele comment from Tuesday when he was on Anfield Index? Those comments? Okay, let's see. Because, yeah, again, I'm going to have to bite my tongue on it, mate. I'm going to have to bite my tongue on it. Because if I say anything, I just start hanging people out to dry, and I'm not going to do that, even if I'm angered by some stances. And you say fire my source. You think I have paid sources out there? I've told you clearly this was the first time this source has been used by us, and the only reason we've ran with it is because of how respected this person is in the journalistic football world. Romano said Liverpool are considering right backs on the market. But look, I want to say this honestly. Like, let's say I'm wrong on the managerial thing. I don't really care so much about grief, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm more concerned, if I'm wrong, about the impact on our club than I am about my own anything. Of course I want my reputation to be intact because it means a lot to me. But I never make excuses for it. I say these things and it's my responsibility. I won't look to make excuses. I won't look to hang anybody else out to dry. I I make the decision. I live by the decision. I own my own words. But I'd be more disappointed in the football club, and I'd be more disappointed because we're all going to see a season where we're going to be fucking angry again. So I think you should all hope my information is right, because if my information isn't right, we're fucked. We are absolutely screwed. Genuinely. Because he ain't fixing it. And I don't think there's any chance he does fix it. If he's here September, October, I think he'd be gone before Christmas. And then FSG will look like gobshites. And Hughes and Edwards' reputation will be even worse. And the anger of the fan base will be through the roof. D Higgs, sick guy, you bro. Love watching your stuff. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And by the way, I do see all the lovely comments as well. Look, here's here's what you need to know about me. I'm really insecure as a guy. I've said this to you guys for years. I'm very insecure. I wish I was arrogant. I wish I was narcissistic. But I feel like I don't belong in this seat. I feel like I don't belong running a channel this big. I feel like I don't belong. I feel like I don't deserve any of this. So I appreciate all those kind words as well. But when your brain's wired like mine is, the negative stuff is the stuff that hits home with you, because it reaffirms your own doubts in yourself. You know, when people say, "You fat Craig," ha ha ha, like, I know that hurts, because I know that hurts because I'm ashamed of that. You know, and when people say, you know, I am really insecure. I don't believe I'm deserving of this. So that's why I try to work as hard as I am to make you happy, or to make you proud of the channel, because I believe there are far better people that deserve better than me, and I got really lucky, and I don't feel deserving of all of it. And a lot of my life I've self-sabotaged things because I'm afraid of success or things going well. And to give you a real insight, I know how to cope with mayhem and chaos because I've lived in it for 15, 20 years. When things are going well, I feel uneasy. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't know what to do. I'm not used to good things. I'm not used to having any money. I'm not used to decisions or choices in life. You know, I'm used to my back against the wall and fighting for survival. So this has all been something that I've had to fight to not destroy. Because the easy thing is to go, you're going to fuck it up eventually, destroy it, and then that thing's happened. The thing that you're scared about, the thing that you're most worried about, happens. And I've done that in my life so many times. I've self-sabotaged something just because then the worst case scenario is upon me and I can deal with it. David said, "Evening, bro, and community. I hope Slot is gone. Not flew in for a game since November. Not giving the club my money until he is gone." I'm not giving them my money either, David. Not a cent of it, mate. Not a cent of it. No All Red memberships, no jerseys, nothing until he's out the door. Shane said, "Just on Pep, as you said, his club has 115 plus charges. It's really annoying me seeing people ranking him above Fergie as the Premier League's greatest ever manager." So there are certain people, Shane, in this life that I think have gotten away with so much shit because of how much money they've made other people. And I put Guardiola in that bracket. There's no denying he's a great footballer in mind. But there's also no denying that we all know that club's suspect, to say the least. And do I believe it's a coincidence he's leaving now? No, not a chance. When I read, and I didn't know about Sporting Intel, Nick's article about the Nandrolone and the two failures that he had for that in Serie A and the excuses that he made for that. It seems like there's a pattern throughout his life of getting out just before the shit hits the fan. And I found it really disingenuous to see so many people queuing up to praise him And I was watching back pages tonight last night, and they were all doing it again. And fair enough to give him the praise, of course, but to not caveat that by talking about the charges that are at the club that has funded a lot of this, I just feel like the whole coverage has been tilted, and it's almost like some people don't want it to be true. And that whole thing, I don't think any of these outlets have really covered the charges to the extent I think they should. And I think the glazing of Pep and other things is just, it's left a sour taste in a lot of football fans' mouth. Thank you, Monkstown Glass. Appreciate you, my friend. Been a while. Appreciate you back in. World we live in, you're not allowed to be wrong. I get that. That's it. I get it. It's a very unforgiving environment. It is, but you know, it is what it is. We Are Liverpool said, "Man, Craig, you don't know how much I can relate to your mindset." I say it to my wife all the time. In fact, if you've been to one of our live shows, you probably heard me opening the show with some variation of, "You're all lunatics for being here. I don't get it." You know, and I am truly that way. I am a normal fella. I don't understand how this has all happened. I don't understand how I'm here. I know my football. I'm confident in that, but I'm afraid of success. That, imagine saying that out loud, like, with a straight face. Like, I'm afraid of being happy because I don't know it. It's not I don't know how to cope with good stuff and happiness because my whole life's on edge, and I can operate in that environment. I can operate in chaos. You know, when shit's going off around me, I'm quite calm because this is my domain. I'm used to living in these environments. Like, that's unfortunately been my childhood. News reports saying Liverpool approached Xabi last year, but we waited for Madrid and declined Liverpool, which annoyed Liverpool's owners. He's a good coach. For us, your thoughts? So, I don't know of him turning us down. I never had that information. I do have information and spoke about it that we reached out in March, I think it was, to his camp, which I think has been spoken about by Chris Williams and a few journalists, that was well talked about in the industry. But I can't give you the reasoning why they didn't think Alonso was worth pursuing. I don't know the answer to that. But if it is a stylistic thing, I'm fine. If it's an ego thing, then that's fucking weird. Like, if it's because maybe they felt a perceived slight from him before, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but it feels like there's a lot of insecurity at the club at the minute. A lot of people looking out for themselves, and I really do question who's got the best interest of our club at the moment, because so many people's careers are up in the air, their contracts are up in the air, and there's no certainty at the minute. And I'm more concerned about what happens for the next sporting director. What direction are we going in? How invested are FSG really in Liverpool still? Because they in the last 4 or 5 years, they've definitely taken their eye off the ball. The contract situations have been a mess. The sporting director situation has been haphazard. And I think a lot of the gloss and sheen from their supposed genius has been shown up to be some of it just PR media fluffing, quite frankly. Motorhome Dreamer said, "Same, Craig. We don't expect good things to happen to the likes of us." Exactly. It's so weird to talk about, but it's really strange. Like, when this channel started to take off, and I, had a bit more kindness shown towards me, shall we say, I didn't know how to handle it, because it's not. I'm not used to it. I'm used to fighting my corner and being defensive and down on the aggression. I had to learn how to accept kindness on here. And I think when I did open up and I did show more vulnerability and I became a little bit more comfortable in my own skin, I put that to the time where the channel really took off. I really do. Shane said you're 100% correct. It's annoyed me because I think it's totally disrespectful to Fergie. Pep has always been at big clubs. Fergie won at Aberdeen and then won our last title in 26 years and went on to win 12 more. I don't think anybody in the Premier League history will ever eclipse what Ferguson achieved. I don't think we'll ever see that again, Shane. I think what people maybe tried to say about Pep is that the style of football played in England, perhaps he had more of an influence on. Because Fergie was a great manager, a great motivator, a great shithouse. But I guess maybe it's the style of football that Pep brought, the playing out from the back, the inverted fullbacks, that kind of thing maybe is more recent in some people's minds. And there is always a lot of recency bias in these things. So this from Paul Joyce. Liverpool are still looking at appointing Feyenoord's assistant manager Etienne Renan to the backroom staff would be a tangible show of support for Arne Slot. So I can tell you this for a fact, and this is a fact. Etienne Renan has spoken with multiple clubs in the Premier League about roles doing video analysis and scouting for them and opposition scouting for them. So. And again, fuck me, I wish I could tell you how close to the coach this information comes from. But any belief that he's only speaking to Liverpool is bullshit, whether it's Paul Joyce or not. It's 100% bona fide bullshit. He's speaking with multiple clubs in the Premier League and not just clubs in the Premier League. So again, they can try to lie about it being a show of strength for Arne, but I'm telling you for a fact that Etienne Renan has spoken to multiple clubs in the Premier League, and if I could tell you exactly where this information came from, you wouldn't even be able to doubt me on it. But it's, yeah, he's definitely talking to multiple clubs, and it's by no means a guarantee Liverpool are the club he's coming to. Just that, whatever about the manager thing, on this one, I would fucking, I would, there's no doubt in my mind on this one. Absolutely none, because of where it came from. And yeah, sorry. I don't want to walk somebody into trouble, but he is not just speaking to Liverpool. Not a chance. He's speaking to multiple clubs. How much of this poor season is down to Van Bronckhorst? I think that's impossible to know from the outside. What I find again worrying is we're about to go into year 3 of Slot, according to these guys, with assistant manager number 3. That to me is bullshit. Again, why? Why could we not keep an assistant manager for more than 1 year? Hiding a left wasn't allowed back, even though they wanted him back, as in Slot and the coaches. Now Van Bronckhorst come in, he's going to fuck off again. Like, again, none of this is, again, a glowing reference to he's a great guy to work with and everything's tickety-boo, is it? Like, all of these things to me are just alarm bells. So yeah, I think it would be really unfair to say how much of this season's down from Bronckhorst or not, because my belief is always whoever's at the top of the pyramid is the fall. So anything to do with coaching falls on Arne's shoulders, whether it's Aaron Briggs, whether it's Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, whether it's the goalkeeping coach, whether it's tactical analysis, whatever it is, all the footballing stuff falls on the head coach. So, and the same at the top. Like, if Liverpool's doing shit, FSG are at fault in my eyes, because they are ultimately making the decisions and signing the checks. So with this one, I don't know what to say, but I hope that all of these so-called top reliable journalists, I hope they're prepared. Put it that way. I hope they're prepared, because it's going to be fucking toxic with the gaslighting. And when Slough fails, whether it's next week or whether he ends up being in the job, all of these fuckers are going to have played a part in allowing this to happen, because not one of them has grown a pair of bollocks and written an article that really rams home how it's unacceptable. And to want respect for covering our club by just being nothing but a fucking brown nose, it's shocking. Again, if I could show you the black and white information that is absolutely bona fide on Etienne Reynan and him speaking with other clubs, I'd love. I tell you what, I'd love to hang a load of people out to dry, because the duplicitous fucking hypocrisy of some of these journalists, what they're saying publicly and what they're briefing people privately and what they're messaging people privately and what they're emailing people privately and what conversations they're having privately. I'd love to fucking hang them all out to dry. I really would. I'd love to just show you what I have and hang each and every one of these fucking duplicitous hypocrites out to dry. But the person that gave me the information, I promised to keep their name out of it, and I can't hang them out to dry, because I gave them my word. But my God, this situation's making me angry, because I'm seeing people writing stuff and I know that that's not their opinion. I know it isn't. I know they're writing it because they need to preserve where they're at. They need to preserve their relationship. And I'm really angry about it. I'm really fucking angry about it, because I know they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. And it certainly made this situation even more tough, because they deserve to be fucking rinsed at this point. Honestly, they do. It's yeah. I'm gonna have to stop there before I say something I can't take back. But it's fucking. When the day comes that I hang up my microphone for good and I say bye-bye to everybody, expect an avalanche of fuck yous to come out, because I have dirt on people that I've held back for years out of respect to other people, and I have stuff on people that others would have run with, but I've bit my tongue on, and I'm supposed to be the hothead. Honest to God, lads, I fucking wish people knew how greasy this whole thing is. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's so duplicitous and so greasy. Grim Reaper said, Craig, not sure if you've touched on it, but what do you think about the England team? Tuchel just selecting favourites. It's a tough one. If Tuchel's selecting people because he thinks that they would form a better unit overall, understood. Some individual decisions, I mean, I would take Maguire over Dan Burn personally. I don't understand how you don't have Trent in any England setup, even if you just need something unlocked or one particular ball. Ivan Toney going is an absolute piss take, and I don't like the message that sends to strikers like Welbeck and others in the Prem. Yeah, there's definitely some decisions there from Tuchel that if I was an England fan, I'd be scratching my head at. But again, any coach lives and dies by their own decisions. And if Thomas Tuchel wins the World Cup, everything he would have done would have been justified. If he doesn't, I'm sure it'll be picked apart as well. But I do admire his strong-headedness in that, you know, he believes in the group that he has, the leaders that he has. There's something admirable about that as well. Being away, what's the actual crack on Slot staying? So, no, to me, my information, again, I still believe he's gone. And I think everybody should be hoping I'm right as well. Because if I'm not right and my information's wrong, we're fucked. We're absolutely fucked. And this club is going to go backwards. And there's going to be a lot of backlash. There's going to be a lot of protesting. There's going to be a lot of angry Reds. There's going to be a lot of phone-ins. There's going to be a lot of... It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy. And I don't know. I'm flabbergasted, by the way, because this shouldn't even be a decision. It shouldn't even be a thought process. For me, he should have been gone November, December, and I don't know. All I hope is that if the information I've gotten proves to be correct, I certainly fucking hope that I get one or two apologies from people, because I will be keeping receipts of all these journalists that have constantly just gone to bat for the club, and they are. Olatomoya said, Slot is staying, people no choice but to back him. I'm not backing him. Mate. If he stays, I'm not backing him. I'll shut my fucking mouth and watch the games, but make no mistake, there's no winning me back for Arne Slot. Not a chance. He's not worth me getting behind, because I don't like him. So I'm not going to be backing him one way or the other. I'll back the team. But to me, Arne Slot's a fucking spoofer, and he's arrogant, and I've hated all of this season, and I've hated his press conferences, and I've hated the way he's dealt with younger players. I've hated the way he's spoken in the media. I've hated the way he sounds defeatist when talking about other clubs. I just don't like him, and he's the wrong fit for us, and we are all going to be right about that. So I'm going to go record this late night news video. I will see you back here on Sunday for the game. We'll be starting from 2:45. And yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. And we'll see what happens over the next few days. But like I've said, and I'll reiterate right now, if I'm wrong, I've offered to resign. And I mean that. I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want people to feel like I've lied to them. So if I'm wrong on this, I'll offer to resign and step away, because it would break me to have people think I'm lying to them. So yeah, that's all I can say. But thank you for your time, and I will hopefully see you on Sunday.